I turned literally the worst clothing brand idea ever, K-Bud, into a multiple six-figure business doing $70,000 a month in sales regularly. I didn't have a ton of money when I started. I didn't have a huge network. I literally started the brand with a few $100s. Today, I'm gonna share with you underground secrets for taking your brand from zero sales or a few $100s in sales a month to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month in sales and beyond. Now, you're gonna have to take notes in this one because we're gonna be going way deeper than just you have to post every day on TikTok. Marketing is so much more than that, and let's be real, you're gonna have to do way more than that for your brand in order to get sales. So buckle in, strap up. This video is gonna be one of those ones that you stumble across that's gonna totally change your life. Here it is. Chapter 1, product market fit is your first priority. Getting your product market fit is where your product and the market are in complete synchronization. This is the first priority for your brand, is matching your brand's identity with the identity of your customers. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that new clothing brand owners make. They make a few designs, they get on social media, they try to sell, and they don't put enough thought into how deep they're truly connecting with their customers on an identity level. Now, in my previous video, I go even deeper into this, but really quickly, there are 5 main categories that people identify with deeply. And if your brand revolves around one of these categories, you're gonna have such an easier time creating a connection and getting the product market fit right. The first one is culture and ethnicity. For example, being Canadian, being Mexican, being from the United States, being from Australia, wherever we are, we identify with strongly. The second is deep values and beliefs. Maybe you believe in free speech and you identify with this very strongly and you want to make a brand around it and connect with others who also have those same values. The third is professional and creative identity. I am the clothing brand guy. I identify with that on a deep level, and whatever it is that you do for a living, if you're an engineer, if you work in, stocks, you tend to identify with strongly. The fourth is lifestyle and activities, whatever it is that you like to do as a hobby or within your lifestyle. And the fifth is your aesthetic or fashion identity. This is how people define themselves visually. Whatever you find aesthetically pleasing, everybody has their own personal taste there, and you tend to identify with that as well. Now, before you get crazy and start marketing on TikTok and Instagram and building your website, this is your first priority. You want to sort out exactly what the identity of your brand is and how you're going to be connecting with your target audience's identity, because they should be one and the same. They should be connected and they should mirror each other. Chapter 2, don't blend in at all. In 2025, we are competing in a free market with global competition. What this means is that ever since everything went online with social media, everybody has access to the entire world. We all offer worldwide shipping, which means that everybody is your competition. Every business idea that has likely been thought of has been attempted or tried before. For example, these mental health business ideas, these gym wear business ideas, unless you're doing something truly unique in that space, you're likely going to be doing something that hundreds of people are already trying to do right now online. In order to stand out, you have to do something that's going to make your brand stand out, and you have to be polarizing. The market is so ridiculously saturated, and this is why you can't blend in at all. To illustrate this point, I want to use the concept from Seth Godin in his book, Purple Cow. If you haven't read it, it's literally only like 100 pages, and it will absolutely blow your mind. But the example is, if you're driving down a road and you look to your right and there's a farm there and there's all these cows in a field, you won't notice any one particular cow because they all look the same. If one of those cows was bright purple, all of your attention would go on that cow, and you'd say, what's up with that cow? I want to learn more about that cow. What is that cow doing there? And it would get all of your attention. Your brand, whatever it is that you're creating, especially now in 2025, needs to be that purple cow. And I'm not just saying this to sound smart. I'm saying literally in 2025, you need to do this in order for you to gain any market share. I want to share with you an example from my own clothing brand, K-Bud, and how I did this. When I first started up my brand, it was called K-Bud, which is slang here in rural Canada, like K-Bud, like sure bud, whatever bud. And that's just how we speak here. Over the years, my designs went from just these simple designs of just like a duck and the word K-Bud to all of these crazy funny sayings that we say here in Canada, like a Hack and Darts hoodie with a duck smoking a cigarette and the smoke going up it, and just doing that to really stand out and be different. This willingness to not hold back, to not be generic and do what everybody else was doing to just fit in and do something completely out there and be different and be a little bit outrageous was one of the key factors in what allowed us to be successful. So as a business owner in this space who's trying to make it work, you need to remove all of your fear. Be bold. Go for your true vision and what you see as being possible within your brand, and don't hold back at all. It's the brands that are playing it way too safe. They're too scared to break the rules that don't get anywhere. Now, before we dive into all this sauce, Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at design.com. If you need designs for your brand and you're not a designer yourself, this is absolutely perfect for you. Go to design.com/apparel success. Use the AI logo generator. Type in whatever your sick idea is for your design. Hit generate. Thousands of logo ideas are going to come up that you can edit and refine as long as you want for free until it's absolutely perfect. I've used this to make a ton of designs within my own businesses. If you're interested, head over to design.com/apparel success and you'll get up to 88% off at checkout. All right, it's time to dive deep into the sauce now. Chapter 3, credibility is the secret sauce. The fastest way to alter the perception of your brand is to inject it with credibility. What is credibility? Credibility is equal to trust and value. The only thing that you can do for your brand that builds trust and builds value simultaneously is adding credibility to your brand. And I want to share with you how exactly you can make your brand more trustworthy, more credible, add more value to your brand very quickly. The first and most important way to build credibility within your brand is the quality of your website. And the reason for this is because your website is the new version of a brick and mortar store. Think about it. When you go shop in a store at the mall, if it looks kind of crappy from the outside, if the branding's not right, if it doesn't look right, you're not going to walk in, you're not going to go shopping. And it's the same thing with your website. I can't state how important this is enough. The quality of your website is going to determine how credible and trustworthy your brand is like crazy. This is often so overlooked by brand owners. They just throw up a website. They don't put enough attention to detail into the little things on their website, and it creates just sort of this amateur perception where when people come to it, they go, this brand's just really not legit enough. I don't want to buy from them. And then they bounce. To simplify this, the 3 main areas that I want you to look at on your website right now to judge your own level of credibility is the quality of your product photos. How good do your products actually look as they're being displayed on your website? The second is the quality of your writing. Are there things spelt wrong? Are things written too long and they're not written concisely enough? Are things written sexy enough, or are they just kind of boring? So the quality of your writing really matters. And the third thing is the structure of your website. If things are out of place, if you've got things in weird places, and when you're scrolling through your site, the user experience is just weird, it's gonna really kill your conversion rate and lead to a really high bounce rate. Long story short, put a ton of effort into your website and don't skip over it at all. Do your absolute best. On top of the quality of your website, you also have customers, displaying customers, having a certain number of customers, or showing reviews on your website. This is going to increase trust. Also, your number of followers on social media, the amount of engagement that you get, the amount of people that are interested in you online. If somebody comes across your brand for the first time, they're going to see that. Like if I saw somebody had 10 million followers, I'd be like, whoa. And I'd check them out and I'd look them up to see who they are. That's a very different perception and level of credibility than somebody who's got 100 followers. And then another thing is social proof, just people wearing your brand, having photos of different people wearing your brand. And as you start to get customers for your brand, you want to capitalize on this and reach out to them, ask for photos, ask for them to tag you in pictures, reward them for doing so, and this will help you market your brand like crazy. Put straight forward, do everything that you can to enhance the credibility of your brand. Make your brand look legit as you possibly can from the very beginning. Chapter 4, test and systematize. Now this is what's crazy. If you've done the first 3 chapters right, when you go to put your brand out there, you're going to get some really good responses. And if you don't get anybody interested in you, then it's likely that your product market fit is off, or you're not standing out and you're just blending in too much, or you don't have high enough credibility. But if you have those 3 things, when you go to market your brand, maybe you try YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook ads, whatever it is, something is going to work for you. So a huge test here to see if you've done the first 3 chapters right is to get your brand out there. Try posting a bunch of TikToks, try posting a bunch of Instagrams. When I first started up my brand, I was trying literally everything, posting on Instagram, running giveaway contests, trying YouTube. And what I realized was that posting giveaway contests on Instagram was working really well. I was getting thousands of people engaging in them. I was generating a ton of sales from them, from people just learning about our products through them. And so what I did is I turned that into a system. Whatever it is that you put out there to the world that's working in terms of a marketing strategy, you want to turn into a system. Once TikTok came out, it changed the whole way that Instagram was working, and TikTok started working better. So as I was testing TikTok, I realized TikTok was crushing it, and I switched my strategy over to TikTok. And on TikTok, I was posting 3 times a day, content that was really connecting with my target audience, mirroring their identity and connecting with them as best as I could. And through doing that, I was generating a whole crap load of sales. I stuck with this for another couple of years. This is what I was doing while it was working. For a period of time, I was using Facebook ads because Facebook ads I was getting a really low cost per click, and I was able to sell like crazy with my brand just using Facebook ads. The whole point here is that what's working for one brand won't necessarily work for another brand, and you need to test to see what's working with your audience, what's working with your market. Something is going to work for you if you've got your brand right and if it's right for an audience. And just do more of what's working. Don't try to constantly do new things all the time. If you notice something is working really well to generate sales for your brand, double down, triple down on it, and just drill it. Make hay while the sun shines, as they say. And then when that stops working, you can move on and try new things. If you follow these 4 chapters step by step, you're eventually going to get your brand to the point where it's absolutely crushing. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know which one of these chapters was your favorite. And if you want to work with me and a community of other brand owners, check out apparelsuccessmastermind.com. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.